Why I won't do a Roth conversion, even if it's my last chance to do so. A bunch of y'all sent me this article from Brett Aarons over at Market Watch. So we're going to read this here real quick, and we're going to break it down. All right, so most of us, including me, are almost certainly going to be better off in a traditional IRA. All right, and there's lots of problems with this thinking here, and I can't say I'm stunned, but after this day and age of, I guess I am stunned. I've had so many reader responses since broaching the subject of traditional Roth is clearly a big topic for people. And it's a hot topic because a new tax bill from the House Ways and Means Committee proposes ending IRA tax savings for anyone with an AGI above 140. I didn't see that, by the way. I read the thing. I didn't see it. I did not see that they're saying IRA tax savings for anyone with AGI over 150. I didn't see that. So I'm not sure where he's getting that from. I'd be happy to be pointed in error if I am, but I didn't see any of that. Among the proposals, ending our ability to convert our traditional IRAs to Roth after year end too. Wasn't in there either. I mean, it was, but it was in there only to some extent, depending on what your I forgot what the whole thing was, but it wasn't just Joe and Jane can't convert Roth. I forgot what it was, but it has, and I did a video on this I think 2 weeks ago, where they put limitation on how much you can convert depending on your income, essentially. But it wasn't just you and me, regular Joes couldn't convert it. So again, prove me wrong. I read the House Ways and Means bill, and I didn't see any of that. So I don't get where he's getting this from. Lots of readers have weighed in, blah, blah, blah. Various readers have argued that you'll pay less tax if you choose a Roth, blah, blah, blah. All right, so, but others argue that's a logical fallacy, and I think they're right. See, this is where these people miss the boat. It's nuts how bad they miss this. I don't get it. But all right, let's say your tax rate in both cases is 24%, and so I'm not even. It frankly doesn't matter. If you're in the same tax rate for throughout, it's going to be the same. You get no benefit whatsoever. But I cannot believe these people still, to this day, even after I've read my book, after Reichenstein, after Ed Slott, I can't believe people don't understand this. If you are in the same tax rate, yes, it will be a net. It doesn't matter. But that's to overlook the inherently blindingly obvious is just silly to me. I don't get it. But here's the thing. I've come to believe those calculations are moot, that you're not going to be in the same tax rate. I'm like, okay, cool. You're not going to be in the same tax bracket. You'll be in a different one. He says you're going to be in a lower one. Interesting, but he's missing something here, man. The reason we're paying significant income taxes today on our salaries, so the upfront tax break matters. We typically earn less in retirement than we do when we're working, and we live in lower tax states, and we get a higher standard exemption. Interesting. Where standard deduction is what's called, not a standard exemption. So I don't think this guy knows how he's talking about with taxes. I just don't think he does. We get a higher standard deduction when we're retired. We may or may not live in lower tax states. We certainly most likely make less. And Social Security can be tax-free. Interesting. I asked two experts to run a married couple filing jointly with $56,000 a year in Social Security and $50,000 in other income. The couple's federal tax bill is going to be about $6,500. All right, so this is where he goes off the rails here. So we're going to look at Florida. We're going to be married filing jointly. All right, we're going to say we're born in 1958. We got $56,000 in a Social Security and $50,000 in other retirement income. I just don't want any state income taxes to get in the way here. And $6,750 is what we're coming up with income tax, 100%. All right, so that's right. But here's a problem. What happens when you become non-married? You're a single taxpayer. All right, so we're going to say single taxpayer, and we're going to say your Social Security is reduced to, I don't know, let's say $35,000, $10,468. That's a widow's tax trap. But why would they still have the same retirement amount account income? Because RMDs are going to be still the same thing, but it's based on a single taxpayer. So you can't escape the RMDs. The RMDs don't matter if you're married or single. The RMDs are based on what your account value was at the end of December 31st of previous year divided by the divisor, whatever your age is, as long as you're over 72. That's just a fact, man. That doesn't go away. So to say your tax bracket will be 24 and 24, it's just freaking dumb because your tax bracket, if you're married, can go way up here because you'll be a single taxpayer, but you're going to have these same RMDs. Now notice we've lost $21,000 in Social Security. We lost $21,000 of income. It went from, let me show you again, $56,000 single, or married I should say, $106 income. We lost $21,000 of income. Oh, Kim says I want that married. There we go. 6750 on 106. So if we take our effective tax rate, we're only paying 6.36% of taxes. That's it. That's our effective tax rate. Now we're going to make this 35,000. We're going to lose 21,000 in Social Security just for giggles, and we're going to say this guy's single. So we got, now we're paying, go to single. There we go. $10,468 on $85,000. So before we're paying 6.3% effective tax rate. Now we're paying 10,000. Let's just say 500 divided by $85,000. Now it's that we've doubled our income tax, man. Our tax rate is now 12.3, where before it was 6.3. Oh, but it gets worse, my furry friends. We're going to go back to Reichenstein here, and we're going to look at the video I did on, just did today. Not knowing how taxes work is costing you money. So right here. This is mind-boggling and insanity, man, because there's this thing called provisional income. So what Reichenstein talks about is right here, that you might be, here's your marginal tax rate, but here's your tax bracket, or you could call this an effective tax rate. That's what I do, is you take the total amount of income you have, divide that by your total amount of taxes you pay, divide that by your total amount of income. That's your effective tax rate. He calls it a marginal tax rate, and I get it. Tax bracket is 10%. So you're saying it's the same tax bracket. Well, it might well be, but when you factor in how Social Security is taxed, it's not the same tax bracket, or it's not the same taxes. That's all that matters. The tax bracket doesn't matter. It's your freaking effective tax rate, man. So yes, it's the same tax bracket, 10, 10, 12. But here's 50% higher when you add Social Security. So it's the same 10% tax bracket, but your effective tax rate is 15%, dude. Here, between these income streams, 10%, 18.5 is 85% higher because how Social Security is factored into taxation. 22% is 40. That's almost a doubling of your freaking tax bracket, man. But yet, that's it. That's all that matters. Your effective tax rate. Nothing else matters. Your tax bracket doesn't matter. Your effective tax rate is what matters. I don't understand this. This is nuts to me. And so we know for a fact if you're married, filing jointly at some age, unless you both go jump off the bridge together, one of you is going to be single. And that person is going to have the same required distributions. I mean, different by the year you're born, but most likely it's be the same, close to the same. Charlotte's 4 years younger than me. So whatever our RMDs are, they'll be divided by her divisor. She's still going to have a significant RMD. Then never mind, leave it to your kids either. And this is what, this whole thing's nuts. No, here he talks about, furthermore, when I think about my own senior years, this is critical for me. This guy points out that medical expenses are tax deductible once they top 7.5% of your AGI. This means nursing at home, nursing homes. If you end up using your IRA money for medical costs, the money will pretty much have avoided federal tax altogether. No, dude, does anyone not know how freaking taxes work who write for financial blogs? There's this thing called standard deduction, not standard exemption, standard deductions and personal exemptions. If you're married filing jointly and you're over the age of 65, your standard deduction is like, what, $30,000 this year? Which means unless you have itemized deductions over $30,000, you're not itemizing that stuff. You're not getting you can deduct it all day long, but if your deductions are lower than your standard deduction, it's not being itemized. Very, very few people, especially older retirees, are itemizing. A tiny fraction, probably the same fraction who actually pays up a lot of medical costs anyway for nursing homes. It's just the mind-boggling of this. I just don't get the lack of forethought. It's nuts to me. I've run this top proposed passionate response on both sides to each their own, but for me, I don't want a Roth conversion if they're really going to ban them after. Let's see what some of the comments are. This is crazy to me. All right, so, well, okay, this guy, Harlan, says he misses the vote. All right, I don't know. Let's see, what's this guy say? All right, so he's talking about IRMA. I'm not even talking about IRMA. He's talking about Medicare premiums. Take Social Security. Okay, I can't read all that. This is way too oversimplified. It really depends on your specific situation. For example, if you retire early and use Obamacare, I understand the cost base. Well, that'd be Obamacare, sure. Unfortunately, this is bad info. The taxable Social Security calculation is only true if there's no other income other than Social Security. If there's other incomes that you're up to 85% of your Social Security is taxable. Yep. Yep. 100%. Good stuff there, man. Let's see what else. Yeah. Can I? Oops. A Roth conversion from IRA account when income tax drops in retirement is definitely the best solution. Right, this right here, Chuck Brown and Soul Searchers, right here, 100%. As been stated many times, his analysis is extremely simplistic and is generally incorrect. I'm both a professional financial planner as well as preparer of income taxes. I have a broad. Do we have any? I have a decent amount. Okay, I can't. It makes sounds okay. I don't care what some of these people drive me crazy. Get to the point. Look, I'm actually the vast majority of people I work with. I don't even recommend Roths. I don't. Every situation is different, man. But the reason I don't is because they're either single, all right, or they're going to be on Obamacare. We don't want Roth conversions then. And the guy I was talking today, like he's making big money. He's a pilot. His tax bracket's way up here. His taxable income's way up here. And in the future, it'll be no more. He's probably in a 30% effective tax rate when you factor in FICA and state. In the future, it'll be no more than 15% when he moves to Florida. He shouldn't be doing Roth conversions. The minute he gets to Florida, though, he had a big pension. He shouldn't do them. But it's the contingent on a lot of your pensions. If you're married, a lot of contingencies going here. But man, just to discount this without seeing the overall picture is nothing. All right, love your thoughts. We'll see you.